Welcome everyone to Discover This. How many of you are aware that back in the early 1900s, people were mailing children via the United States mail? Yeah, that's right. See, there was a new program the mail started, and some people found a loophole within the instructions and the rules within that new program, and they were mailing children. Check this out.
1, 2, 3, 4.
On January 1st, 1913, the United States Mail initiated Parcel Post, their version of package delivery. It was a huge success from the get-go. In the first 5 days, post offices around the country collectively totaled a little over 4 million packages sent through Parcel Post. In the first 6 months, 300 million parcels had been sent. There were a few rules. Initially, things going Parcel Post had to be under 11 pounds and under 72 inches. But later, in 1913, the U.S. Mail increased that to 20 pounds. Then later on, they increased it again to 50 pounds. With the weight limits and the amount of postage based on distance, initially there weren't too many rules about what could not be sent via Parcel Post. Some folks around the country noticed that lack of specifics. See, Jesse and Matilda Beagle of Glen Estee, Ohio, decided to mail their child, 8-month-old James, to Mrs. Lewis Beagle, the child's grandmother, in Batavia, Ohio, not too far away. They attached the proper postage, 15 cents, to the child's clothes, and the rural mail carrier accepted the Parcel Post and delivered it. And the parents did insure the package for $50, so that's a good thing. That was the first documented delivery of a child through Parcel Post. Not to be outdone, on February 8, 1913, in Ulmers, South Carolina, a rural mail carrier reported a Parcel Post incident involving 2 children and a wooden leg. You heard that right. Apparently, this carrier for U.S. Mail was delivering 2 infants and a wooden leg when the carrier was attacked by a wildcat. Fearing for the safety of the infants, he took the wooden leg and used it as a weapon to fend off the wildcat. Both the infants and the wooden leg were later delivered successfully to their destination. Also around this time, Mr. and Mrs. J.W. Savis of Pine Hollow, Pennsylvania, mailed their daughter to a relative in Clay Hollow, Pennsylvania. The postage cost the parents 45 cents. As these episodes started making the news, it seems that some of the rural post offices needed some instruction on handling babies or children as Parcel Post. Note that mail carriers should not stick the postage on the infant's face, and that babies should be fed every 4 hours. Also, they should deliver the babies to someone at the destination, not to leave them on the porch. That all seems fairly reasonable to me. About this time, photos started appearing in the press. Now, these photos with babies in mail carriers' pouches were all staged. This is not how the deliveries really happened. Reportedly, around June 14, 1913, as reported in the New York Times, the Washington Post, and the LA Times, the postmaster officially decreed that children could no longer be sent through the mail. Well, not all the post offices, especially the rural ones, got the memo. In February 1914, a mother in Stratford, Oklahoma, went to her local postmaster and inquired whether she could have her 2-year-old daughter sent by Parcel Post from Twin Falls, Idaho. Well, that postmaster didn't want to make a decision because there was technically nothing in the books to prevent such a request, so he sent the request to Washington, D.C. The Assistant Postmaster General, who then declared that all human beings and live animals were barred from being sent via Parcel Post. The only exception, the queen bee, which was the only living creature that could be sent by Parcel Post from then on. Well, on March 14, 1914, 4-year-old Mary Piersdorf was sent by Parcel Post by her parents in Grangeville, Idaho, to her grandparents in Lewiston, Idaho. 53 cents in stamps were pinned to her coat. June 25, 1914, a mother in Stillwell, Indiana, sent her child to the child's father in LaPorte, Indiana. This was during a custody dispute over the child. The postage sent the mother back 17 cents. In February 1915, a mother in Florida mailed her 6-year-old daughter from Florida to the father's home in Virginia. In August 1915, 3-year-old Maud Smith's grandparents sent her via Parcel Post through Kentucky to visit the child's sick mother. That appears to be the last documented transit of a child in the Parcel Post program. In fact, that incident instigated an investigation by the Railway Mail Service of the U.S. Mail, who questioned why the postmaster in Kentucky allowed a child on the mail train when it was explicitly against the regulations. Not sure what happened to that postmaster. Now, on December 7, 1915, a woman in Youngstown, Ohio, inquired the postmaster about sending a child back to the child's parents in Akron. The child had been visiting and had grown homesick, and the woman had read about folks sending children through the Parcel Post. The postmaster said that since the child was not a queen bee, they could not accommodate the request. Finally, in June 1920, 2 applications to send children via Parcel Post were received by the U.S. Mail hierarchy in Washington, D.C. The first Assistant Postmaster General denied the request by saying children clearly do not come within the classification of harmless live animals, in other words, queen bees, that do not require food and water during transit. Well, that's going to do it, ladies and gentlemen, for this little unique piece of United States history. I wouldn't try doing this nowadays. It's kind of frowned upon, I believe. But it did happen back in the day. So I appreciate you taking the time to watch this video, and we will see you on the next Discover This.